Do not give your strength to women, nor your ways to that which destroys kings. How many wives did he have? He definitely didn't have one. He definitely was a monogamous relationship. But David, that's right. So the very first thing she says, don't give yourself your strength to women. And so that is, to me, that sexual desire is our biggest strength, is right? Can we assume that? So I know that it's the loudest voice at times in our heads, just growing up and being an adolescent boy, that attraction to females is hardwired into little boys as I've ever seen, and especially teenage boys, not little boys, but teenage boys for sure. And I'm assuming that he's probably about that age. Wouldn't you think? This is probably, his mother's talking to him, and he's probably about that teenage years would be my guess. And but the first thing is don't give up your spirit, because you're sharing spirit. Whenever you come together as a husband and wife, or man and woman, you become one, right? We know we become one in the flesh. And so if we break that, but that's what gives us our strength in marriage, right? To have that monogamous relationship. That's why he designed it this way. And so, if we give that up, we are giving, it says, nor your ways to that which destroys kings. So there's a good chance that destroys kings first, and second is alcoholism. I would say those are two of the, and we still fight those battles today. Would y'all agree? Are those the biggest? Ken, you're a teacher. You're a ex-coach and teacher. Would you say that those are two of the biggest problems that you run into with middle school age kids? Or alcohol, drugs, and sexual things? I would agree with that. They didn't have it here to talk about, but your phone, and your attachment to the phone, and if you take that phone away, you notice how angry kids will get, and if they don't have that phone, right?
Well, for our generation, alcohol and drugs the phone is doing that.
Yep. It's the same chemical release, right? I think parents, though, it's not just kids. I mean, how many hours in your day are you not within an arm's reach of your phone? And when you don't have your phone, do you feel like you're less, or like you're like, oh, somebody's trying to get in touch with me. I need to find my phone. And of course, it's just marketers and propagandists and, filling your email up with who knows how many emails that you don't want in your life. I know for me, my email is the worst part of my day. When I log on to it, it's just like, oh, scroll. And I'm like, I just want one to be something about something I want to know about or need, not what I need to buy or spend or what's wrong with the world. I get those. I'm like, how did I get on this email list? I have no idea how I'm on here, but now I get who knows what. I mean, like, I try to delete them, unsubscribe, it don't matter. I feel like every time I unsubscribe from an email, it like puts me into a system that gets me 5 more emails. I'm not sure why that is, but I know that it is one of the worst parts of my day is getting onto that computer and getting into technology. Now, technology can be a blessing, being able to communicate with people all over the world. Imagine sharing today's message without technology. Now we have the ability to broadcast this and reach people all over the world in a matter of seconds. So there are some benefits to it. But just as anything else in life, it can be a benefit or it can also be a detriment. So, well, let's get into verse. Any other thoughts on those verse 9, anybody? Okay, we're going to get into verse 10, and Who would like to read verse 10 through 12? Proverbs. I got any takers? Go for it. What version is this?
NIV.
Okay.
A wife of noble character who can find. She is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life.
Okay. It says, a wife of noble character who can find? She is worth more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. We're going to break this down first. So a woman of noble character who can find? So it says she's worth far more than rubies. Are rubies an easy thing to find? I know diamonds. I was going to say diamonds, but we got the diamond crater, and everybody gets lucky every once in a while going to the diamond crater and find some diamonds up there in Arkansas, But rubies I don't know many places you can go get rubies. The only time I think I've ever seen rubies are in some treasure hunting movie, like the Goonies or something, and they found some rubies and emeralds and diamond, I feel like that's the only time I've ever seen a ruby. I don't even think I've ever seen a woman or a man wear a ruby. So it is very, very rare to find beautiful, gems like that. Well, that's how rare a virtuous wife is in the world. But it's the very first. She's saying this right off the bat. Now, one of the things that I noticed when I was reading the Jewish Bible, the complete Jewish Bible, it has the Jewish alphabet along this verse, and so do y'all know anything about the Jewish or the Hebrew alphabet? They read from right to left, right? And so it's Aleph, Bet, Gamma, Det. I took Greek and not Hebrew in college, so I wasn't very good at Hebrew, but I've studied it more a little bit now. Well, this verse was in their Bible, which I kind of go back to it because this was written in Hebrew back then, so it starts off with the alphabet. So that is see if I get an acrostic is what it's called. And so that's basically where the very first, these 22 verses here in acrostic, where they start with Aleph, Bet, so which in Hebrew, every letter has a numerical value at the same time. So Aleph is 1, Bet is 2, it's like A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. So that's kind of how they numbered things. But this was a song, so this was almost like a children's song, right? So whenever they're teaching this, they taught it with the alphabet, with their Hebrew alphabet at the same time. So it was just like if I were to ask you to sing your ABCs, who in here could sing their ABCs? Every single person in here, correct, can sing the ABCs. Just like if I asked you to tell me the Old Testament, there's a good chance you think of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, you put music with it, right? Helps you remember it. And so this same thing, I believe, is right here in these verses on a virtuous wife. And so if we read through where we have numbers in the original text, it had letters of the Hebrew alphabet when it was listing this, almost like a song. And I think it could have been a song. And it's probably how children learned about the wife that they need to choose, and from young childhood. And I do agree that that's probably why this was put in there that way. So we know that the virtuous wife is hard to find, but we also know that once you find her, you have to value her. So as a husband, when you find that woman, that diamond in the rough, that ruby, you have to let her know that she is valuable to you. If you do not, as a husband, it's just you're going down the wrong path. One thing I've learned through being married for 15 years now, or going on 15 years, is my wife needs me to talk to her. She needs communication, and she needs to feel valued. Those are two of the biggest things that I can bring to the table. You know, security, of course. She needs to know that I'm going to be there for her at all times. And but this is what I see here. It's like you got to know that they are a value, and you got to give them that value. And we go into verse 12. It says that she does him good and not evil all the days of her life. Do y'all think that's the American way these days? Is to be a partner to your husband and to bring goodness to him, or bring, it seems like the world is bringing weight and drama. You know, like, what have you been doing all day? You just going to sit there? You know this that sheetrock, you hadn't finished it yet. Are you going to put this together? You know, like it seems like today's woman in the world, in the American world that we have today, is more independent, right? So she doesn't have to be a partner. It doesn't have to be a family unit. This is the world talking here. I'm not, saying here in the church, but the world wants this feminism rise, right? They want equal pay. They want to be able to do everything the same, and they want their own checking accounts. They want you ever heard what's yours is ours and what's mine is mine, or what's mine is mine and what's yours is ours. We hear that a lot. And so I think that's something that we really need to realize. But women, if you're going to be like a Proverbs woman here, you have to be of value to your husband. You are a helper, right? Man was made in the day, and female, she came at night, but God made her to what? To help us, right? And to be a helper, for the family unit. Well, once we go on a little bit further here, we'll see how she is a helper and how to be a virtuous wife. Who wants to read verse 13 through 18? Verses 13 through 18. Anybody? Any takers? If not, I'll read it. I'm just not a very good reader, so, it may be hard to follow me at times. Okay? She's on top of it, isn't she? She's like, what part of that is there lack? There's not lack in any of that for her and what she does and what she brings to the family. So we learn about a virtuous wife here. It says she seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands. So she's not complaining about stuff at all. She's out there working. She is bringing value to the household, right? So she's looking for wool and flax. Well, flax is what you make your bread and stuff out of, right? So that was one of the main staples. Where we use wheat mostly on a lot of stuff today, they use more flax, and flax is better for you. I know every time I've seen in the flax seed, it seems to be one of the best things you can put in your body for digestive health and things like that. So she willingly works with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She also rises while it is yet night. So she gets up early in the morning and starts working and providing for the family. She's cooking breakfast. She's feeding animals. She's doing whatever it takes to help that household go in the right direction. Would y'all agree with that? So she rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and a portion for her maidservants. So she's even cooking for the maidservants. Now, that's one thing that I think most women in today's world would love, a batch of maidservants, to help out around the house. Some of us may have cleaners, some of us may have, and I guess that would be comparable. But I know we've got 5 in our house and 4 dogs, so that's a 9 in our family if you count the dogs. But I feel like at times the dogs get it better than we do, so I know they definitely greet us with love and compassion all the time. But I got an old dog right now, and she can't keep her Yeah, she just can't keep her pee in her body. I'll put it that way. In the house, like she wants to. If there's a brand new rug, hey, let me go over here and christen this. And no matter how many times we let her out, of course she's 17 or 18 now, and so. But I'm ready for her to find her home in heaven. You know, if all dogs go to heaven, I'm ready for that to happen because 3 or 4 times a day, I cleaned it up twice this morning. You know, and we let her out twice, and so there's no, you know, it is stressful. So I would love to have someone, a maidservant, that could just take care of all my animals. That'd be nice. So if anybody wants to sign up for that, y'all let me know. I may be hiring. I won't pay much, but my wife will cook you some food early in the morning, and we're going to stick with that that plan here. So it says also she considers the field and buys it. From her profits, she plants a vineyard. She girds herself with strength and strengthens her arms. So, do y'all think she's lazy? I think she's far from lazy, right? But she's also business-minded. She's buying fields. She's planting crops. She is entrepreneurial. So she is doing things that bring value to the family. Could we agree with that? I think so. You know, it says she's strong too, strengthens those arms, so she might be Superwoman. You know, but it sounds like she's Superwoman. Everything I look in here is like, man, this is the perfect wife. You know, that has all this. What better companion could you have than someone like this to bring this kind of value to the home? It says she perceives that her merchandise is good. We're going to go into verse 19 through 21. She says, and her lamp does not go out by night. She stretches out her hands to the distaff. What's another word for distaff? Anybody got another version of that? The needy, right? So she's out there helping the needy. So we learn that she is she thinking of others first through these verses here? Seems like she is. She thinks of others first, which to me, that's true love. If you were going to define love, how would you define it? Serving others before yourself, serving the needs of others before yourself. Like that's true love right there. I think Jesus did that for us, I'm pretty sure. It says she extends her hands to the poor. Yes, she reaches out her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household, and all her household is clothed in scarlet. She makes tapestry for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates. We're going to stop before we get back to that one. It says she's definitely very helpful to the poor. So she's always giving her time. She's always looking out for others, those that are less fortunate. She is there to help them and make their lives better. That is what a Proverbs says a virtuous woman does. And she's not afraid of snow, so she's prepared for the winter. Kind of like those ants we read about earlier, right? In Proverbs, preparing for the winter. They're not hungry in the winter because they've already prepared all summer. So this wife here her household does not have to worry if it gets too cold because she's already prepared. She's already knitted the garments. She's already got the blankets. She's probably got wood stacked up. She's done it all. She's done everything so she can be there for her family when the worst times come. She's already prepared. She makes tapestry for herself, her clothing in fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them and supplies sashes for the merchants. What can we learn about this here? When it says that her husband is known in the gates. What does that mean?
He's sitting at the gate.
Sorry?
He's sitting at the gate talking to the other guys.
Well, they know him, right? They know him, but is that a reputation thing, would you say? So she has a reputation about herself that carries over to her husband, right? With all the elders. So she's such a good woman that whenever her husband shows up, they know how good he is by how good his woman is, right? I think we can agree with that. So, but a good woman helps a man have a good reputation, because everywhere that we fall short, guess what? Woman is there to tell us we're falling short. You know, if you're married, I guarantee every time you fall short as a husband, guess who's there to let you know about it? And hopefully you're learning from those situations and you respect her opinion. And when you hear that, you say, you're right. Thank you. Thank you for pulling me up. I needed that. You know, and not, I can't believe it. You did this. Are you stupid? You know, how dumb can you be? You know, like I think a good virtuous woman wouldn't say those things. She wouldn't kick them when they're down. She's there to help build them up. Would we agree with that? We're going to go on to see verse 20, verse 24. So 25, strength and honor are her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. She watches over the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Man, I don't know what the bread of idleness is, but it sounds like cookies. In my household, cookies would be a bread of idleness for me, because anytime I get bored and I'll see a little sweet, I'll go over there and grab it. But I definitely won't go to work. I'll sit down and enjoy it, you know. So that, to me, I'm going to call those are cookies, you know, because cookies are one of my, I love some cookies. I tell you, Deanne brought home a batch of cookies yesterday or a couple of days ago, and I hit a few of them. And she goes, oh, there's a good one in there. I said, oh, yeah, we already ate that one. So Livy and I split that one up, and you're right, it was delicious. Well, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. Do you think she's a gossiper? I don't think she's a gossiper. That's one thing that you can break someone down is by your tongue, right? You know, gossip will break people apart. But as a husband and a wife, if you have a wife that constantly breaking you down, it demeans you as a husband. It makes you feel worthless. And so there's nothing better for me as a husband is when my wife gives me encouragement and when she gives me praise for a job well done. Those are things that help make me want to do a better job. But if I hear about how bad I did and what I did wrong over and over, and she tells me 5 different ways on how I did it wrong, and then I'm like, okay, I know I did it wrong, but she keeps on and on and on, you know, those are not traits of the virtuous woman, right? So if you catch your man doing wrong, you can tell him once, you don't have to tell him 10 times. You know, it's probably better to be silent, right? And just hold that tongue. But with women, y'all have an ability to look through us and give us a look that we feel that strikes us down to our heart. It'll attack us pretty quick. And I know y'all know that look. Men in here, how many of y'all know the look of your wife? That when she gives you a look and she's not happy with you, you know it. You feel it, and does it feel good? She don't even have to say a word, you know. It does not feel good, you know. But what does feel good? When she gives you praise, acceptance, you know, and says you did a good job. Thank you for being there. You're like giving thanks, like that's what we need. We need to feel appreciated, right? For the work that we do. That's one of our biggest, like, man, give me appreciation, please. Because if you don't, no one probably else will. You know, like as women, if you're not giving your husband praise, there's a good chance no one else will. And if you're not giving them praise, there's a chance that another woman may give them praise. And, you know, and men often go to the one that makes them feel the best. So we always want to guard our words, right? And make sure that we are speaking in ways that are uplifting, right? And rewarding and loving and kindness, it says here. And on her tongue is the law of kindness. Man, do we need more kindness in today's world? Man, that is the most underrated asset that we have, is to be kind to others, but most people do not. If there's one thing you can do going out through the rest of this week, just choose kindness first. And to anybody and everybody, if you're kind to them, I guarantee you they will not be against you. They will not want to hurt you. They will not want to do anything bad to you if you are kind to them. Let's get into verse 28. I know we're about to end here. We're about out of time. It says, her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done well, but you excel them all. The children of a virtuous wife praise her, and they're thankful for her, and they know how good of a job she does and how hard she works. But even the children and the husband give her all the praise in the world. So you know, maybe if you're not getting a lot of praise in life, maybe you need to read Proverbs 31 a little more, you know. And at times, I think the same way. At times when I'm not getting praise, I have to get back in the Word. Why am I not getting praise? Well, I'm not doing it right, evidently. You know, if I was doing it right, I'd probably get more praise. So, charm is deceitful and beauty is passing. This is verse 30. But a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. So charm is deceitful. What do y'all think about that? Do y'all believe that? Usually when someone's really charming, they're probably trying to take advantage, aren't they? They really step it up. And it says beauty is passing. I think all women are beautiful. No matter where you are, where you come from, I see beauty in every single female on the face of this earth. You know, so I agree with that, but also know that beauty is something that happens more as we're younger. You know, in today's world, they see more beauty in younger people than we do in older people. Well, I disagree. To me, I think I love gray hair myself. It's like we learned earlier in Proverbs that is a crown of glory, right? That's that wisdom. You know, I would much rather have a wise wife and a kind wife than a supermodel wife. No, thank you. You know, everybody that I know that has a supermodel wife, they're not very happy. You know, they may have been happy for a few moments or a few minutes, but you know what comes along with that usually is drama and you know heartache. And so we need to, one, find out what is beautiful to us, but give value to the things that are more important than physical attraction, right? I know when I met my wife, I believe she's very beautiful, I still do, even to this day. But when I wrote down a top 10 list of what I was looking for in a future wife, I went through a bad breakup. Well, I carried it with me. I dated it, and I carried it in my wallet every day. Well, I met her 120 days to the day of me writing what I was looking for in a future wife. And I only had 2 physical traits. She had to be tall, and she had to have a pretty smile. Those are the only 2 physical traits that I put in my future, you know, what I was looking for in a future wife. Everything else was spiritual or mental. Those were the things that were more important to me than the physical side of it. Now, tall and good smile, those were, I may be a little superficial on that, but, you know, being 6'6", I didn't want a 5'2" woman, you know, so I figured I need at least a 6-footer to make us happy, or to make me happy, and it worked out for me. But again, my main focus was spiritual, mental, you know, ways more than physical traits, other than the height and a pretty smile. So, but a smile will brighten a room, you know, so we need to choose to smile more often, right? Be more kind to others. And if people are smiling at you, what do you want to do back at them? You want to smile at them, right? So, and then the last verse here, it says, give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. And we are going to end on that one. And that tells me that her character is most important. And that last part is all about her character. But her character, they will know her by her character, and they will open and praise her in the pearly gates, right? And the world praises those women that have good character. And as a father of 3 daughters, my number one goal is to raise my daughters with good character, you know, and to be kind, be unusually kind in today's world. So thank y'all. We will see y'all next time.